Please introduce yourself.
My name is Alet, son of 14, son of Mahmoud, and I'm 16 years old.
Okay, so let's talk about keeping fit.
Uh-huh.
Do you try to keep fit?
Sometimes I keep fit when I lose weight or when I fat, and I keep fit sometimes.
So how do you keep fit?
I wake up at 6 o'clock and run about 2 kilometers and 2 hours.
Do you think it is important for young people to keep fit?
For young people, it's very important because if they don't keep fit at the young, they in if they be old persons, they be very difficult to live.
Is sport compulsory for school children in Kazakhstan?
Yes, every school has a physical education in they must run they run and jump play games.
Do you do any sports?
Actually, I don't do it at typical day, but in summer I go to play, go to the tennis center and play big tennis.
So, have you ever watched a sporting event live?
Yes, I watch some sports live, and sometimes I don't sleep. I don't sleep because I watch some football matches, because they start at 9 o'clock, 2 o'clock a.m.
So, let's turn to speaking part 2.
Okay.
You have to describe an important decision you had to make in your life. You should say what you had to decide, what or who helped you decide, if you made a right decision or wrong, and explain why the decision was important. So here is your card. You can use this space. 1 minute to prepare. So let's talk.
Okay.
Describe an important decision you had to make.
The decision was when I start to go at Kazakh Turkish Lyceum, and the my parent advice that is Kazakh social system is a very good lesson because they good they have got good teachers and good teachers, Turkish teachers, English teachers, and they help the, about studies, and I think that I made the right decision because nowadays I know the Turkish, Russian, Kazakh very well, and very well, and some teach English and Turkish teach helps about helps math and physics how so easily and don't be disturbed when you solve it, and the decision was very important. They at Kazakh Lyceum pass on only 60 students at 200 students.
Mm-hmm. So, are you good at making decisions?
Sometimes I could make decisions, but usually my parents makes me decision.
Do you think you usually make the right decisions?
Actually, I sometimes write the decision, but sometimes I cannot do the right decision.
Mm-hmm. So look at me, just look
Okay.
at me, right? So we continue talking about making decisions.
Mhm.
So do you think it's harder to make decisions nowadays, look at me,
Okay.
because we have so many choices?
I think that big decision is very difficult. Very difficult because nowadays have so decision and we sometimes don't choose the right.
Okay. So what are the disadvantages of asking for other people's advice when making a decision?
Some people give the right decision because they know they know about this topic and how to do it, and some people never make a decision and the advice the wrong decision.
So why do you think some people are better at making decisions than others?
To my mind that people's listen to other people's who did the right decision, and they gives us the more information, and they are good make a decision.
Mm-hmm. So do you think children should be given the opportunity to make their own decisions?
um, some children due to the some children don't listen to the other to the other advice, and they choose um, their own. And some children who listen their parents or relatives, they can be the right make decision.
Mm-hmm. And some people say we only learn by making mistakes. Do you agree?
Yes, I totally agree with these ideas, and how I know that I see more motivation videos, or somebody asked me that when you fall you must stand up, and I don't understand how it, and I think that if people fall, they must be stand up. And when I saw motivation video, the some two people, they fall on the from box rings. Some people first.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Sultan, and I'm 17 years old. I'm studying in the number 10 school. I live in Shymkent city in the Kazakhstan.
Okay, so let's talk about your hometown.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you say you live in a city.
Yes,
so
city.
it's a big
Yes,
place.
big city than in other cities.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that you live in a city, not in a town?
Because our city it's a big than in other cities. Ours called city because we have a big buildings and have some micropolis, like have a high buildings, and I think. But town it's just like little city, just have a little house and some another field, and about some markets.
Have your family always lived here in Shymkent?
Yes. My parents live there, and my grandparents too live there, and about 100 to 200 years our parents live there.
Do you like living here?
Yes, because our city's weather is so good. When in the winter our weather it's not so cold. In the summer, but it's very hot, and but usually you can live there and you can go to some. I think our city is good.
Mm-hmm.
You
So,
can live.
do many tourists visit your area?
Yes, I think because I saw a lot of tourists in our city. I met about 10 or 20 tourists in our city, and I communicate with Japanese, Canadian, English, and Englishmen. Sorry, and some Iran or Egypt, Arabian. I don't know, but I meet a lot of tourists.
So, and what do they see when they come here?
The tourists came to see our historical building, some museum in our city, and visit our historical place. It's called Turkestan, and Arstanbab is a historical place where our Khan, it's kind of king, lived, and the historical place the tourists came.
So, and do you think your home city will change much in the future?
In the future, yes, I think so, because our architectures, so artificial, and we have a lot of futuristic building than 20 years ago, and after 20 years, our city will be big by each day, and it will be nice.
So it's time to speaking part 2.
Yeah, okay.
Your task is to talk about one of your possessions, things that you have, which you couldn't live without. You should say what it is, why you first bought it or how you got it, when and how you often use it, and explain why it is so special. So this is your card. You can use this space, and you have 1 minute to prepare.
Okay.
Okay, so a possession you have and you cannot live without it.
I think that my bicycle and my books and English books exactly, and I think I my bicycle I bought it about 2 years ago, and I use my bicycle every day. I cycling with my bicycle in evening, in night, sometimes. And my English books I got it from my parents. My parents bought it, but didn't read it. But it was nice when you got it from parents. My parents said, you must read it and learn it, and I started learning it years ago, and I read it every day, about 20-30 minutes after before go to sleep. And I think these two things, two positions I must have. I couldn't live without these things.
So let's continue.
Yeah, okay.
Do you throw things away when you don't need them anymore?
Yes, I think because when I will buy a car, I do not will use my bicycle and my English books too, because I will finish these English books, and I think I will buy new English books.
So
in the
will
future.
you throw your old English books and your bicycle away?
Yes.
Really?
No, my bicycle, yeah, exactly. But my books, it will be memorize me. When I have forgotten some something about the book, I will open and I will review all things about.
Mm-hmm. Do you sometimes buy something and then regret it?
Oh my god.
You feel sorry that you bought it.
Mm, yes, exactly. Because I bought a tablet. This name is called iPad, and I use this tablet about 2 months, 3 months, not no more. And I, I, I was so sorry because I, I don't use anymore this tablet, and I sell my tablet in my
Mhm.
classmate.
So we continue speaking
Yeah,
on
okay.
this topic. So, do you think some people spend too much money on things they don't need?
Yes, exactly. Because my parents buy uh, things, not things, just electronics, smartphones, TV, some radio maybe, and computer. And but I am growing up, and I think I will not use these things, computer and TV. I will study and learn something new
Mm-hmm.
in the books maybe.
Is it worth trying to repair things which break rather than throwing them away?
Um, I think the things breaks after using a lot of time, and when the things, some maybe electronics, when the breaks, we just buy new than the one, old one.
So you don't repair it.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So many people feel they must have lots of high-tech gadgets these days. Do you agree with this?
Yes, I agree with this because I use my mobile phone for calling, for surfing, for internet, and listening to music and learning some new things and see news from internet, some high technology news, some our social life news, and in other things, and our um, our town, our city people use mobile phones, smartphones, in each day, every day.
Mm-hmm. Do you think technology has made our lives easier or more stressful?
Oh, 50% because some older people cannot use high tech technology, but younger teenagers can use. And teenagers use for just relaxing, for some turn on the lights and turn on the lights, and sometimes older people too use smartphones or some new technologies for something like our teacher.
Some people are not interested in keeping up to date with modern technology. So, do you think that matters?
I don't think so because my parents don't like use new technology like smartphone or some new technology for using house technology. But it's okay for my parents' age because my parents' age is all this one.
Hello,
Hello,
please introduce yourself.
my name is Narbat Talhat. Now I don't study and I don't work, but I'm studying English courses.
Mm-hmm. So, let's talk about music. Do you like music?
Yes, of course, I like music. I'm a meloman. I like different types of music, but especially I like classic music.
Mm-hmm. So, what do you like about classical music?
I like I like Paul Maria and other musicians, classic musicians, and classic music can relax you when you want to have a rest.
Mm-hmm. Are your friends interested in the same kind of music?
No, I don't think so. My friends are rap. My friends like listen to rap and other types of music.
Mm-hmm. So, and where do you usually listen to your favorite music?
I usually listen to my favorite music at radio, at home, and when I at home, in the evening, I often listen to classic music.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever go to concerts?
Can you repeat?
Do you ever go to concerts?
Ah, no, I don't go to the concerts because there is in Shymkent we have one theater I know, but there is not classic scenes, and I have no opportunity to listen to classic music in my own town.
Mm-hmm. Do you play or would you like to learn to play a musical instrument?
Yes, of course, I want to play the guitar because my brother he plays the guitar every day, and he always say me play the guitar, and he wants that I play the guitar, but I'm very lazy to do some same things every day.
Okay. So, we turn to speaking part 2. You have to describe one of your possessions which you couldn't live without. So you should say what it is, why you first bought it or how you got it, when and how often you use it, and explain why it is so special for you. Okay? So here is your card. So you can use this space 1 minute and then we talk.
Can I write?
Yes.
What does mean position?
What you have, your belonging, your possession, the thing you have. Okay, your time is over. So let's talk about the possession which you couldn't live without.
This is my book. This book about of history of Kazakhstan, and my uncle present me at my birthday. The name of this book is the history of Kazakhstan, and the calls about Kazakh peoples who lived in Middle Earth, and who struggle for the independence, and who moved from different places to Kazakhstan, and they began to live there. Become to live there, and I often read this book in the evening every day, and because I always do marks in this book, and I really like to read about history, and I enjoy myself when I read this book.
Mm-hmm. So, do you throw things away when you don't need them anymore? Just listen to me. Do you throw things away when you don't need them anymore?
No, I don't think so, because I have never thrown my favorite book. My perception of the world was formed by this book.
But it's not only about books. Just throw things away that you don't need anymore. Just listen to me, Dolga. Don't look there. Not only books. You have other things.
I don't understand your question.
Do you throw things away if you don't need them anymore?
Okay. Of course, I do this because in my future plans there is no place for things that I have no use in future.
Mm-hmm. Do you sometimes buy something and then regret it? Look at me. Don't look there.
Okay. Yes, of course, I buy sometimes things and then I can regret it. For example, it is used paper and other things.
Do you buy used paper?
No, I buy clear paper when I wrote something, and if I don't need in this paper, I can throw it away.
Okay, so that sounds strange. So listen, just listen to me, okay? So we continue talking about topic of possession, thing, and so on. So do you think some people spend too much money on things they don't need?
Yes, of course, I think so. In my point of view, people spend time in not necessary things. For example, I often play computer games, and I have no sense in I haven't see sense in playing the computer games.
Mm-hmm.
And but in other side, computer games can help for us. For example, when I study or when I want to drive, I can learn drive rules from computer games.
Mm-hmm. Is it worth trying to repair things which break rather than throwing them away? Look at me. Don't try to read it. So just I'm asking questions. Is it worth trying to repair, to fix things which break instead of throwing them away?
Yes, I always try to repair is something wrong, or this thing has broken, and I try to repair this thing. And after, but if I do the same things every time, this thing can stand became not useful, and after I have to buy a new thing.
Mm-hmm. Many people feel they must have lots of high-tech gadgets these days. What do you think of this?
I think that it is very good, because in modern days, we have to possess our gadgets because it's the center of technology, and we moved or we communicate with our friends. We have to use these gadgets, and but in our side, if we use more time than option, it will be bad for us.
So let's continue. So, do you think technology has made our lives easier or more stressful?
I think, of course, I think the gadgets make our lives easier because when we have our tasks and we have, for example, if we have to move from one place to other place, we use GPS, and we can easily get to point to point, and in navigation it is very useful, and mobile phones also helps us to communicate. It is one of means to communicate with us.
And some people aren't interested in keeping up to date with new technology. What do you think of this?
Maybe they want to live without technology. They try live more the nature life. I completely I'm not I partially agree with this because we sometimes we have to breathe the fresh air and use natural products, and when you live inside modern technology, you can do these things every time.
Okay, thank you. Hello,
Hello,
please introduce yourself.
my name is Tohtar. My surname is Murzabas. I am 17 years old and I live in Shymkent.
So let's talk about your free time.
Okay.
Do you have a lot of free time?
Nowadays, I don't have enough free time because I am preparing to IELTS exams, and I try to prepare for these exams, and unfortunately, I don't have enough time.
What do you like to do when you are at home?
At home, I try listen music, and most of times I try to help to my mother with housework.
Do you spend more time with your family or with friends?
I think actually I spend more time with my friends because my parents are working whole day, and they live at home at the evening and they come back late at night, and I spend a lot of time with my friends.
Where do you go when you go out with your friends?
We go to caves. Caves, and we go to the swimming. Sometimes we do sports together.
Is there enough to do in your hometown?
Yes, we have all facilities in our city. Yeah, because I think it's a third city in our country, and we have all facilities that we need.
So let's turn to speaking part 2. You have to describe an important decision you had to make in your life. You should say what you had to decide about, what or who helped you to decide, and if you made the right decision.
Okay.
And explain why the decision was important. Here is your card. Here is some space. You have 1 minute to prepare, and then we start. You can write in any blank, any space. So, let's talk. An important decision you had to make.
I think that I make decisions. Sometimes I do correct decisions. For example, few years ago, I don't have make all my decisions are false, or I don't make not right decision, and my father helped me in this situation. After he described me the structure of this. Well, first of all, firstly I must take this information and analyze it, and secondly take important things and throughout unuseful things, and at the third think about if I will do this, I take more information or not, and after that I by the time I have experience and I practice this, and after that I learned how to make right decisions.
Mm-hmm. So, are you good at making decisions now?
I think yes, yes, because sometimes my friends asking me result of this. Sometimes my friends call me and they ask they talk about their problems, and after that they ask me the solution of this, and sometimes I give them my advice, and sometimes it will be right decision.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you usually make right decisions, so you say?
Yes, I make right decisions.
And you don't make mistakes anymore?
If I solve 10 problems, 9 of them is the right, one is...
But this wrong decision can be actually vital decision, very important decision, right?
Yes.
So, thank you. Let's turn to speaking part 3. We continue talking on topic of making decisions. So, do you think it's harder to make decisions nowadays because we have so many choices?
Yes, in my opinion, making decisions now it's more difficult than I think in a few years ago, and now it was very difficult too, because we do decisions from our life experiences. If we know about this problem, we make right decision. If we don't have experience about this, unfortunately, we make incorrect decisions.
Mm-hmm. What are the disadvantages of asking for other people's advice when making a decision? The disadvantages, so for asking advice.
I think sometimes it's. I think I try solve problem for myself, because sometimes people we meet a lot of friends only honest people or friends give us their what they feel, and sometimes many people are very busy, and they only say that do this, if you ask them if this will be okay if I do this, and they don't care about it, and they say yes. I think sometimes it's useful to ask opinions, but sometimes it's incorrect.
Mhm. Why do you think some people are better at making decisions than others?
From my view, that I think some people make right decisions of their life experience. For example, my grandfather make right decisions in any situations, because he was in the Second World War, and he saw very many things, and he have a lot of experience about this. And if human or people have a lot of experience, I think he made a lot of decisions.
Mhm.
If you don't have enough, you don't have right make decisions.
Do you think children should be given the opportunity to make their own decisions?
Yes, I agree with this, because if parents always will told them what to do, after when they became adults, they don't have their own idea, and if someone came and says that if you must do this, they will do, and they don't have their own idea.
Mhm. So, if parents do give the opportunity, what kind of decisions children should be allowed to make?
Allowed to make, I think every parent want that their children must do right decision, and I think children must take important things from their parents' decision.
Mm. Some people say we only learn by making mistakes. Do you agree?
I agree with this, because if we don't do this, we never will know what will happen. And after doing something, if it's correct, we will notice. If it's incorrect, we will take a lesson about from this. And I think it's very useful to have problems. And at the second time, we try not to do the same mistakes that we do in the first time.
Thank you.